And welcome back to daxsdeviants. In this podcast, we talk about pups and their experiences within the pup community and the wider fetish scene. Today, I am joined by an old friend of mine. We've known each other for, 10 years? Something like that. Today, I'm joined by the wonderful pup, Kino. Say hi.
Hello, how are you? It has been a while. To answer the question, I think it was around the early 2009 or something like that.
Was it as early as that?
Definitely the high school.
Yeah.
Definitely the high school period.
Yeah, it was like first or second year that I met you. So yeah, it would have been
definitely was.
2009 or 2010. So yeah, we've known each other a very long time now. Jeez, 13 years. Christ.
Yeah, been a while.
Yeah, it's been absolutely insane. Like, because we only really started talking a lot when I kind of moved out on my own, because you were literally the street over.
That is true.
Yeah, and you were kind of one of the first pups that I really got to play with. So that was also fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for people that don't know you, you're Kino. And what is the reason you went with the name Kino?
Geeky moment. It's actually a small little reference to Stargate. Later in, they use this little device called a Kino, and it gets sent through the gate, and it's used for surveillance recordings. They use it to sort of scout out ahead. And the reason I got the name was because someone mentioned that when they saw me in my sort of pup headspace, I became a very curious and adventurous person, always wanting to be the first to scout out areas.
Oh, that's quite interesting, actually.
A small little geeky moment, but that's how I got the name, and not heard of another, yet. So I'm a little bit happy about that.
I really like that. I like the Stargate reference as well. I love it when things are geeky and sci-fi themed, kind of like, because Dax is from Star Trek, so yeah.
It's funny because when I usually explain it, I just get left with this sort of stone expression to go. Okay.
I've watched a lot of Stargate, so yeah, I know where you're coming from. Yeah, Teal'c is always just deadpan and best character.
Oh, Teal'c.
We love Teal'c.
Man that never aged, except for I think one episode.
Yeah. Christopher Judge, what a man. Love him as Kratos. Like, what a voice.
Very like stole the scene. He was very like gripping.
Yeah.
Every time he spoke, it was the way he spoke as well, with no care.
Indeed.
He was the main character.
Oh, he was the main character. Everyone else was just, an extra. So what kind of style does Kino have? Like colors, pup breed, tribes, that sort of thing?
In terms of style and breed, it's representation of like a Dalmatian. So he's black and white, sporting the black and white hood with little studs in the whisker holes.
Very nice.
Style-wise, it depends on where he is. He's been known to be at events, so usually those events are, a safe zone, so you could be in like harnesses, jocks, shorts, things like that, always with his tail. In terms of socially, it's, very casual. Jeans, hoodie, jacket. He's been seen in a certain shop that made certain headlines at one point or another. Which
made City News in Edinburgh. Yes, I remember reading that article.
An interesting moment. But that's a clear example. Socially, he's just sporting usual, people clothes with his little badges, of course.
Yeah, trying to enjoy the wonderful everyday, you could say.
yeah, I suppose. He's not one to just strictly stay at events.
No, absolutely not. And as you shouldn't be, because you should be kind of enjoying the headspace whenever you can. Or in the most comfortable and safe setting that you can. Should point out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And what got you into being a pup?
Strangely enough, it was just coming across on like Twitter. It was scrolling, and with the case of whoever you follow, if they retweet or like something, it has the potential to be the newest thing in your feed.
Yep.
And I saw someone I think it was a retweet of a spot photo. The other, that I say the other, like basically the Dalmatian that's known for sort of bringing up play onto like the TV representation in the household commonly. Maybe that's not the right way to put it. I don't want anyone getting angry at me for that. But that's at least a household name where, I originally was.
Yep, absolutely.
And it was just a curiosity of, not so much as like, why would someone do that? It was more of the, I guess, role player heart of me was like, oh, that's, acting out a role gives you a sense of freedom, being a little bit away from the norm of what you're used to. And the more I just went into it, the more I was like, something I need to try. Because as you know, the 13 years of knowing me, I'm a person of, you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
So got my first little, I don't want to say low scale or anything, but like everyone of the community will know when you say like the Amazon brand hoodie type thing. Got my one of that. Again, black and white, always has been.
Yep.
And just sort of fell into it quite naturally, I suppose. It was just something that gripped me, felt very at home with right away.
Which is ideal.
Just felt very ideal. It just felt like it was a missing part, I suppose.
That's the best way to put it, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And from that kind of period, what kind of experience level do you now have with being a pup?
My personal experience, I would say, has just went upscale in terms of, I would say, the confidence it's given me with and without the hood. The places that it's, motivated me to travel, not exactly like over, an airplane or anything, but, further down south than I would have originally planned at any point to attend events and, meet other pups and such. So it's granted me a lot of freedom. Just, I don't know, it's just sort of taken me down a direction I never expected. It's not, blowing the water out or anything, but it's definitely landed me in very unique and rewarding situations.
Interesting. And with those kind of rewarding experiences, what does being a pup mean for you? Is it something that's like a very, very positive thing, or is it just something that is kind of just that alter ego?
I would naturally say that me and Kino are, one. It's not a part that I would bring out only in certain times. It's, I've went out in stores, I've went out in public. It's just something I'm very happy to switch over to at any point.
Yeah. So it's quite easy for you to swap into that headspace.
Yeah, quite easily. I could do it without the hood, but again, I feel like it's not right because I feel like Kino has a face of his own when he has that sort of thing. So without that, it doesn't feel right. But it's definitely very natural for me to just swap over. It just feels like taking a breath. It doesn't feel like I'm putting on character or a facade to, I guess put up an illusion or anything. It just feels very normal, natural.
Yeah, which is exactly the sort of feeling that you want to go for when getting into these headspaces. You don't really want it to be something that's forced. You want it to be something that you do feel kind of natural and can just kind of slip right into.
Well, yeah, definitely. I don't think being forced into the headspace can do anything positive. If anything, I think it would be impossible to be forced into it.
Yeah, I think if you're kind of, not really feeling it, and you try and put yourself into that headspace, I don't think it's going to help. No,
not at all. I think there's moments where you would benefit from being in it, so you try to get in it. But I suppose if you're being forced by another, it's not really something that could be achieved.
No, I think it's like hypno. You kind of have to have the mentality for it to be kind of put under.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're not feeling the good vibes, it's not really going to work that well.
No.
But kind of going on from that kind of forcefulness of being in the headspace, what is something that you were really interested in that you tried and it turned out to be not that great?
I guess in a way it would be, even though I still do it now, it's a small little regret because it's when you go to certain events, you have slight more freedom of what clothing you can wear.
Yeah.
And with that, certain times there's came a assumption from other people that because one chooses to maybe wear a little less than the norm would suggest, it's an open invitation for hands and things like that. Granted, certain events have areas for those kind of things, which is fine. But you know, if you're not in those areas and you feel a unexpected presence, it's not exactly a welcome feeling, I would say.
No, I totally get that.
I do apologize. I do hear Lexi, the logo of the house, with her bowl in the background.
It's quite all right. I could hear Aloy munching her way earlier, and I was hoping it wasn't getting picked up. But usually, if I can hear it outside my headphones, it's gonna get picked up.
We'll be fine.
And if money, time, and resources were no object, what would be your dream look for Kino?
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie. Kino is very much show dog, likes spotlight, so he would very much buy every and all clothing he could to match any occasion.
That's exactly the sort of thing I would expect.
Definitely keeping the white and black pattern.
Yes.
Sorry, my housemates just came in like panicking a bit and knocking the water bowl.
It's quite all right. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, definitely sticking with like the black and white theme. But God, he'd be in everything. He'd be in jeans, shorts, you know, probably leather at some points. You know, the less, jockey harnesses for certain events. Definitely something that would catch light. You know, whether you want him to be or not, he's in your field of vision. Yeah,
which is not unexpected from you, to be honest. Not at all. Not at all.
I'm not sure how to take that one, but positive.
Hey, you're always like that. You've always been kind of this person of like, oh, I'm kind of hidden in the shadows, but you know, I want you to look at me.
Oh yeah, I'm a here, I'm present. If you approach me, you're in for a surprise, I suppose.
Yep.
If not, then that's still a moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And do you have any kind of particular moment or memory that encapsulates how you feel when you're in that pup headspace?
Oh. I actually think that would have to be at my first event, which was A9 camping, maybe 3 years back now.
Okay.
But it was just, I guess, the freedom of everyone being around you. You know, there were a lot of pups there. And it was an open space, seeing everyone just sort of not care, not judge, which rare. But you just sort of saw everyone steal that moment for themselves, and it allowed you to do the same. And you just sort of see your vision go from walking on to suddenly being a lot lower and smiling beneath your nose and realizing that you're, you know, suddenly in that headspace. And it's just often that I go back to that moment of seeing the vision of walking, suddenly dropping down a little lower and going to a more, I would say, normal type of vision.
Yeah.
So that is definitely the most unique moment that sticks.
Which is great. I feel like we need to get you to Darklands because I think that you would be in your element at the pup play area. They have a ball pit and everything. You would love it.
Oh, there was a ball pit in the K9 camping and it was phenomenal. I've seen quite a lot of photos at like the Darklands. I don't think I've seen the ball pit, but I have seen many a pups there. Obviously on Twitter you see people post like crazy. I knew you went to 2. I could be wrong, but
3.
I knew.
Been in 3 now.
Oh, geez, 3. Not sure what one it was, but I do remember before I moved away that you were preparing to go to 1.
Yes, so that was. When did you move away? You only moved away this year, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I only moved away in February.
Yeah, so I was preparing because it was in March. So yeah, it was good this year. I was a little bit ill for it, which was unfortunate, but
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, there was a stomach bug going around, and I managed to get it on the Friday. So the Friday and Saturday, I was kind of wiped out, which was a bit annoying. But
at least it was only 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was going to ask you the question of have you ever had an accidental headspace switch in a normal situation, but you don't really have normal situations because as you've made the news with your puppy presence in a popular shopping store.
Yeah,
so
no, I don't think that can really apply.
No. Because I
suppose
think
the people that I've been around, that when stuff like that happens, it's just very expected, and
yeah,
they don't care. They're very open to it. As if you said you saw the article, so you probably saw the video. There was
yes.
Other people there. I wasn't the only puppy, and I'm just. It's very normal. So I suppose I'm the one that creates the unique situations for others to talk about.
Yes, you kind of shed light on the taboo subject of kink in Scotland, which is something that we're trying to expose a little bit more through the show and through the use of the dip. So it should be good, but yeah, we're trying to get the kink scene of Scotland kind of less underground and not kind of thrown into the open, but more talked about and less of a hush-hush subject, which I think you did it beautifully, just kind of showing up to the shop, having a wander around and as the cute little pup.
I'm not going to lie, I'm surprised it actually made it on the news at all, because it wasn't it was by far not the first time that I've been to that one or others of the same branch, various other shops. So it's really not, maybe since I've moved it's a little uncommon now, but where I used to be it was not uncommon for me to just go out as Kino, do things, live my life. So I was surprised that it actually took maybe as long as it did.
Yeah, because
me to leave my spot somewhere.
Yeah, because I remember you put in photos in the group chats and things like that of you just out in public having a walk in your pup gear. I know you were with Bruno a couple of times with your pup walks.
Yeah, Bruno's the red buddy of mine, probably the closest pup friend that I've got.
Yeah, so I remember seeing photos of you guys together when you were out and about. And then I remember you sending the article and I was like, hold on, what? Why is this just happening? But obviously it's disgruntled father who had ties with was it the Edinburgh Evening News?
Oh, good. Honestly, I can't keep up. It actually ended up making printed paper, which shocked me the most.
Oh, geez, I didn't know it made printed. I just saw the online one.
Yeah, it was Bruno that told me. He said that it made printed paper, and I got a little upset. Not like angry, but like sad upset, because he said he didn't save it, and I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved to have cut it out and framed it.
Well, you can probably find it in an online archive.
Yeah, probably, but
because all of them get scanned
the same
into the archive. So as long as you know
not
the
the
date,
same.
Yeah, but you can still print it and frame it, and that'll be the official.
It's not the authentic though.
Yeah, just find someone that's a hoarder and just ask to go
there'll
through
be
the
one
pile.
somewhere.
Yeah, there'll be one somewhere. And with the kind of colors that you go for, because as you said, you're the kind of white and black, like a Dalmatian. Do you follow the hanky code, or is that not something that you considered?
Personally, and I'm probably gonna leave this open to areas of various attack by people, but I don't believe that the colors of a hood should be associated with the hanky code. So my colors are just the ones that I chose personally, and I never look at a pup with colors and think, that's instantly a thing like that.
Which is absolutely fine. Yeah, there's plenty of people like that. Personally, I went with orange because orange is my favorite color. It just so happened that the hanky code kind of tied up and matched it. So I was like, okay, whatever, bonus.
True.
But Shiny, who I interviewed, was telling me about the lace code. I didn't know this was a thing, but the lace code is a very dark subject. I'll let you look it up in your own time.
Either, actually. I say I don't know about it either, actually.
Yeah, it's like the color and the way that you tie your laces means different things, and some of them are just downright scary. So,
oh god,
I will apologize to people if I'm staring at your laces for the way that they're tied and the color of your laces.
I imagine after I look it up, I'll be doing the same.
Oh my god, like there's ones that mean that like you're a communist and things like that, and I'm just like, huh?
I'm so confused why that has any place in like some sort of
you and me both, buddy.
Code.
You and me both, buddy. And within the scene, do you have kind of like a role model, or is there anyone that you kind of look up to?
Honestly, I would say my friend Bruno, because he was the one that, although I was quite open to allowing Kino the freedom of the outdoors, because I had made a friend like Bruno so close to where I actually lived. It was maybe like an hour by foot, 15 minutes by a bus, or less by a car. Because I got all the opportunities to go outside with him, and he convinced me and persuaded me, and gave me the confidence to do it in more areas and more public situations. So I would actually have to say him.
Oh, that's a nice shout out for him. I love that.
Yeah. I'll actually have to get in touch with him, see if he'll do one with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously when I start doing kind of the group, I'm calling them group interviews for now, and I know for a fact they're not going to be group interviews, they're just going to be group discussions. There'll be a discussion point, just chat amongst everyone, although trying to control it so that everyone doesn't just talk over each other at once is going to be an absolute nightmare, but it'll be fun. It'll be a fun learning curve to do.
Just that moment when you said I need to try and make sure no one talks over one another, I'm like, oh, depends how many you have in a,
yeah, exactly.
in a chat, but good luck.
I know. I'm trying to kind of work out what pairings I could do if I'm just doing like 2 people or more people, to try and pair people best so that I'm not pairing overconfident people with like less confident people so that they just get drowned out totally. But so far, everyone that I've had on has been incredibly confident and can just talk for hours, as evident with how long some of these run. But do you have anything you wish you knew before you became a pup?
It's honestly yes, but I'm worried it might be a little bit too negative.
No, honestly,
I would say it would be the assumptions that come with being a pup.
Okay, what would they kind of be?
Well, like I said previously, it's at certain events when you're not in the not safe for work areas, we'll put it. There's the wandering hands, the assumption, and then it's like if you're not in shorts but you're in a jock, you're automatically bottom. So the hands lead to certain really unwanted areas. Yeah, and I guess everyone that isn't in the community automatically assumes, at least in my experience, that if you are a pup, then you are a very submissive and lost person. And I say lost because those are the words that's been used various amounts of times. Yeah,
well, a few other guests have kind of expressed that wanting to do pup play and things like that is kind of an association with neurodivergence, which is perfectly understandable because it's a kind of form of escapism. There's been a couple of studies that say it kind of helps with mental health and things like that, which is totally understandable because I know that the headspace can be a complete switch from, dealing with day to day to being this happy, fun puppy that just wants belly rubs.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've heard of quite a few pups that, got into pup play as the escape route.
And it makes perfect sense, honestly. But I do understand what you're saying about kind of the wandering hands, things like that. It's not nice when people kind of just assume these things. And the interview that I done with Blaze/Scorch, his kind of alter ego of Scorch doesn't really like getting pets and things like that, so he will just attempt to bite people. Because remember, people, not all puppies like to be pet. Some of them should have a do not touch sign on them. Keep
That's
that in
true.
mind. Human pups are very much human pups are very much similar. Human pups are very much similar to actual pups. You've got some that are people friendly and some that just aren't. In general, very happy, love belly rubs, scratches, things like that. But just as much as you wouldn't stick your finger in an actual dog's arse, maybe don't do it to an actual human pup.
We're begging you, don't do it
without consent. Remember,
some of them will ask for it, but make sure you get that from them first.
Yes, as explained on this show many times, consent. It's the most important thing when dealing with any kind of pup, handler, deviant whatsoever. It's always about consent and being in a safe space.
Definitely. No, you're fine. I was just sort of thinking when you said that there are the unique moments where people want the fantasy of like certain things. So I suppose there's a unique consent you have to get as well. Yes, absolutely. Be that the use of kind of safe words or that sort of thing. But always kind of make sure that consent's there because it's kind of important. And just to kind of off the back of that, what advice would you have for any new pups or a person kind of deciding that they want to try out pup play? Well, I would say just go for it. If you can make it happen, go to an event. Even if it's not a major one, even if you want to be the wallflower that doesn't speak or anything, just try and put yourself in the area, surround yourself with it, and let yourself see all the unique doors that can open for you. Because at events and social gatherings or pup play, you get to see what it does for others, because pup play does various things for different people. So being surrounded by all these people allows you to see, at least in my experience, all the different benefits that you can gain from it, depending on what you're looking for from it.
I think that's brilliantly put. What is your favorite place to meet other pups? Do you prefer to meet other pups at events, or do you prefer to meet them kind of in smaller, more social gatherings?
Honestly, I'm quite happy for either. I've had a few pups that I've met from events, and others that have been friends of Bruno, and ones I've just met through social media. Yeah. But I'm very much happy to just say yes to any form of pup gathering, be it, like a small lunch or a big event or, a casual stroll, just, because they want to be seen.
Oh, that's brilliant. And do you have any kind of brand recommendations for like your gear and things like that? I know we always talk about how gear isn't the most important part of being a pup, it's the headspace. But obviously having gear can sometimes help that headspace a little bit. So do you have any particular brands that are your kind of go-to, or let me know? Mine
are personally Mr. S Leather.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Because it's got, that's Kino's face at the moment, the very common black and white canine neoprene hood. As far as his muzzle goes, that's actually the same, again, a white one. Is with harnesses and shops, they're just various, Primark, Amazon, wherever you can get them, really. Yeah. But just sort of sticking with the same color pattern. His tail is Mr. S as well. But I would say for other people, it depends on what you're looking for, because rough stuff, that was Bruno. Bruno's a very big, rough stuff fan. Yeah. Because that gives the back of the head quite a lot of breathing space. So depending on where you are, like maybe a sauna or something, it allows more time to cool down. I personally have no problem because I've been before with, the hood and stuff. Other people have as well, but I would say rough stuff's a good one to go to if you're not wanting complete coverage over your head, if you want to be claustrophobic or feel a bit trapped or something like that. Yeah. No, I have a Mr. S hood myself that has ear holes, which is
such a nice feature. It means I can actually hear things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Mr. S is one of the brands that I like. I'm looking at getting a new hood soon. I've decided Dax needs to get some spots, so because he's a little trill puppy, so he needs these spots which do go all the way down. So tell me a little bit more about your life as a pup. Is it purely social? Is it purely sexual? Although for me, I get the feeling it's kind of more social than sexual.
I would definitely say it is very much, I would say 90% social.
Yeah.
Like when I found came across the photo on Twitter, it wasn't exactly like a not safe for work photo. It was very much, because I'm pretty sure you know the spot I'm talking about. He also has a bodysuit, so
yeah,
there's nothing on show or anything. So when I was researching it, I was more focused on the headspace and the mental state that it can give you, rather than the role play and the sexual side it can give you.
Yeah, which honestly I really respect that, because I know some people kind of rush in thinking that pup play is just going to be an entirely sexual thing, but I think for most people it's kind of a 50-50 thing, or it is just more of a social thing. I don't think for myself it is more of a social thing. Dax has had a little bit of fun here and there, but prefers just to kind of socialize as a pup. It's much more fun.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say it's quite rewarding to just be social as a pup, because again, it gives you that freedom and confidence to just speak a lot more openly and maybe ask certain things you wouldn't ask of people before.
Yeah,
I don't know if that quite makes sense, but
no,
for me,
sense.
It gives me the fun side of saying what Kino wants to say without worry.
Yeah, which is exactly what you want from this kind of alternate headspace. And what kind of stuff have you done as Kino? You mentioned events. How many events have you kind of done, and what's your kind of goal at these events? Is it just to kind of socialize and build a bigger pup circle, or is it, you looking to have a little bit of fun at these kind of events?
Well, as events goes, I've been to Canine Camping, Hello, and Collard, which have all been a safe for work presence with me. Yep. Other than, I admit, I was at a Collard with my partner, so we had our little moment.
Quote unquote little moment.
More than a moment, but
yep.
Definitely found our way around that event. When it comes to just me events, it's just social. Just looking to, see pups, enjoy that moment, enjoy the social side of that without, I don't know, to me, a pup event is a lot more different than going to your normal club. It just seems a lot more carefree. No, I guess there's judgment in every community, but it's a different type.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but like, especially when I kind of do events as Dax, I kind of feel a lot more free, and I feel a lot more at ease, kind of being able to kind of dance, socialize, and kind of drink with people. It's a lot more comfortable, and it does feel a lot more free, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's the initial anonymous feeling that comes with the hoods or masks that people put on when wearing them.
Yeah.
They just feel a lot more safe to not care.
Yeah, definitely, because it is kind of like this alter ego where you can kind of let go of your regular fears and worries. Because, I mean, if you know me, I am a terrible, terrible dancer. And I always feel like I'm going to get judged for like my like 90s dad dancing. It is, yeah. If you ever manage to catch a glimpse of me dancing, please just look the other way, because it is, you'll cringe. But I feel like when I'm Dax, when I'm Dax, it's fine.
Pole dance with
I don't
believe
pole
it's
dance.
Pup Rick.
No, I think you've got me confused for someone. I don't do pole dancing.
Wow, you have a twin in the world in that case.
You think I have the upper body strength to be able to pole dance? I struggle to lift myself out of bed, never mind up a fucking pole.
I suppose, yeah. Okay, probably wasn't you when you put it that way.
No, I do know of a few pups that do pole dancing. I know someone that does pole dancing in heels, and it gives me the fucking fear. I would struggle to do pole dancing at the best of time, but in heels, oh my god.
That's a talent and a death wish.
Yes.
I'm not sure what one comes first, but
honestly,
it's definitely a combo.
It's like Puppy Belgium 2023, the wonderful Marshmallow, did the puppy walk in very big heels, and kudos to her, she's a queen. But there's no way. Like I was wearing my Doc Martens, and it was uncomfortable enough because a lot of Antwerp is kind of cobble paths and things like that. Okay. So yeah, imagine doing that in heels. There's no way. I would have tripped up and died at the first opportunity.
Oh yeah, I would have felt the moment my foot hit the cobblestone.
Oh yeah, I tripped up drunk one of the nights that I was there, and yeah, scraped my hands and knees.
On brand.
Yeah, very on brand.
It's very on brand for you.
I was leaving the Boots, which is, I don't know, it's kind of like how do I describe it? It's like a gay sauna, but without the sauna components. It's just dark rooms and bars.
All right, okay.
It's a great place, absolutely fantastic place. And I was a little drunk and a little sad because I had lost my vape. Cue sad music. John lost his vape.
You're one of those people that the world stops spinning when the vape's not in the hand.
It did, honestly. I was very sad. I've had that vape for like well over a year now. It's got a lot of war wounds on it, but it's you know, it's a part of me. And I lost it literally about 5 minutes before the place closed. And they were like, "Look, we'll look for it when we're doing cleanup in the morning, and if we find it, we'll set it to side and you can get it tomorrow." And I was like, okay, absolutely fine. And as I'm leaving, I'm like, oh, what am I meant to smoke on the way home? And someone was like, here, have a cigarette. And you know me, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore because COVID fucked my lungs up. But drunk people was like, oh my god, you're so nice, thank you. So I took a cigarette, they light it, they go one way, I go the other. I start walking back to the flat where my alpha was staying. And I'm trying to, I've got maps on my phone in one hand, cigarette in the other, and I'm just kind of, traipsing along, just like, oh, it's a nice breeze at 4 a.m. And I catch my boot on one of the cobbles, face plant, cigarette goes one way, phone goes the other, and I'm just lying in the middle of the street, just going, fuck! At 4 a.m.
Just accepting fate.
Yeah, I literally just lay there for a second, then it suddenly dawned on me, I was like, oh, my cigarette. So I get the cigarette, take a puff, and it's like, it's kind of sad. Then I'm like, oh fuck, my phone. And I've cracked my screen protector. That's the only damage I'd done to it, which is a miracle. And I'm just kind of get up and I'm like, my hands really hurt. And then I look at them, they're all scraped. I'm like, my knees really hurt.
For fuck's sake.
And I was like, I don't know why my knees hurt because I got jeans on. It wasn't until I got back to the flat and took my jeans off that I realized my knees were just scraped so badly. I was just like,
you're just a hazard to human life.
I'm a hazard to myself. I don't really think I'm a hazard to anybody else.
Is chaotic.
I mean, you're not wrong there. So yeah, that was fun. I woke up the next day and my alpha was very kind. He was like, hey, we got you this vape just in case they can't find yours. And I was like, oh, thank you.
The world spins again.
Yeah, but they did manage to find mine, so it was fine. But yeah, that was stressful. I don't know, have you ever had a stressful moment like that where you've just gone a little bit overboard at an event?
I guess it's going back to the unwanted wandering hand. I'm one to give a single warning, and then if that warning isn't received, not my problem.
Yeah.
What comes out of Kino's mouth and what he does is not my problem, and it's not Kino's either. Warned. You got your warning. Exactly, you got your warning. And it has happened, definitely.
I'm not surprised, honestly. I do notice that at some events that some people just don't seem to really take a hint. They seem to think that, oh,
No.
we're in this space. This is what happens here. It's just going to happen, sort of thing. And it's like, no. We go back we've gone full circle to the whole point of consent.
Exactly. It's weird because I was at a sauna with my partner a couple months back, and we were asked if we were a couple, and we said yes. And then there was a slight, couple seconds of pause. And then he turned around and went, "So why are you here?" And we just sort of...
Excuse me?
Exactly. We just sort of stared at him for a minute, and we're like, well, we don't exactly have a jacuzzi at home. We don't have a swing at home. There's a lot of things here that one can benefit from.
Exactly.
That doesn't involve you.
Jeez, honestly, some people...
So it was... Exactly. So it's just one of those moments of, I'm here minding my business, having a good time, and you just come up and ask me such a stupid question, wasting my time.
Honestly,
because then I'm having to waste effort getting annoyed at them.
Yeah, because some people get really entitled with it. It's like they find out you're either having fun with someone exclusively, or even that you're just not really interested in having fun with them, and they take it as like you've just insulted the last 7 generations of their family.
Oh yeah, there has been times in the past when I've been at areas like that, you say no to one person and you're off with another. You then come back and you get a mouthful from the person that you rejected. And it's a case of, why were they the choice? Why were they better than me? And it just goes back to that feeling of my time's being wasted because I shouldn't have to explain no to a grown adult.
Yeah. I know, it really freaks me out sometimes that these people are adults that can make big life decisions, and yet they can act incredibly childish when it comes to such a simple thing as consent and, your own personal preferences. It is a bit sad that there's kind of individuals out there that kind of think that they're God's gift to the world, and that if you don't want to have fun with them, then there's something wrong with you and not them. Which
delusion's a fun thing.
Delusion is a fun thing. You've got that right. I've noticed it a few times at kind of saunas and that, where someone wants to play and you're kind of just, nah, not my type. And yeah, the best one's Grindr. Anytime you kind of tell someone, oh, not really into that, or not really my type, and then you just get instantly blocked.
See, the thing that annoyed me is in the past when I had that app was when nothing seemed to be the indication. It was just normal conversation, everything seems to be fine and accepted, and then just gone.
Yeah.
And you're there like, what was the point?
I actually had something similar recently, except it was a little bit further than the just having conversation stage, where the guy told me, he was like, oh, okay, I'm based here. How do I describe it so that you understand it, but the people watching don't know where I live? So they live near the mall.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so a drive away from me. So they send the address. I say, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Go out, get my car, drive to where they said, go into Grindr because they said text when you're outside, go to message them to say that I'm outside, and they've blocked me. And I was like, fucking really?
That's the annoying one, because the people that do that are sitting peeking out of their windows with their little nosy neighbor eyes being like, oh, they actually showed up. And it's like, well, obviously it's the whole point of the app, is it not?
Bitch, we have a cost of living crisis. Don't you know how expensive fuel is? I have to use fuel.
Cost of living crisis, and you're pissed off because a guy made you drive what?
10 minutes.
I was about to say 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, it's like a 5-mile drive, Yeah. And it was one of those where it did a few days later pop up and he was like, oh, I'm really sorry about the other day. And I just laughed at him and I was like, don't message me ever again.
Yeah, how can you be sorry for something that you chose to do?
I was like, you deliberately blocked me. Don't do that shit. Especially as it was if he'd kind of been given mixed signals and was like, oh, you know, kind of wishy-washy, like kind of wanting a hookup, but not really, and was just kind of sending his addresses like, all right, I would have been like, okay, this is a red flag, I'm not going to go. But the fact that he was so into it, sent his address, I drive over and it's just like block. I'm like, no.
Oh, because you ended up with that small hype.
I did. I douched and everything, okay? I had to put prep into that. I prepared myself for a good time and I was denied it. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than being denied sexual gratification when it's someone that has offered it to you and then just shut you down.
I do agree. Well, on half of that, because me and you take very different roles. So, you know, there's certain things I don't really have to do.
Yeah, you don't have to do all the prep work.
You make it sound like you guys deserve like a, you know, telenovela award for the performance.
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't. You take any medal and say thanks.
Oh, yeah. Prefer trophies that are kind of phallic shaped. Just personal preference, though.
Of course. I expect nothing less.
Of course. Would you expect anything less?
No.
So, if you had to choose a different name that wasn't Kino, what would you choose and why?
Actually, Kino was the second name.
Oh.
Yeah, and it wasn't too long. It was maybe, I would say, a year that I was... when I first got into it, I was known as Coda.
I do remember Coda, yes.
Yeah, Coda, again, still black and white, very much Dalmatian, finding his paws. And that came from the brother bear, Coda.
Aw.
Yeah. He was a little shit, though. And then he evolved like a little Pokemon.
Yeah. Into the Kino we know and love today.
Exactly. So I guess if there was another name, it would have to be that. Or I had a friend one time that had a very unique and fun name. At least I thought it was Ruckus, and it was because someone shouted at Ruckus. Someone shouted at him one time, and was complaining that they were making a ruckus. So he says that it just sort of like hit him like a bullet, but a very good way. It was like something that just sort of stick, and a light bulb went off in his head and went, "That's it."
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was quite a fun name. So that one always sticks with me as well. But I would say those, don't really think it could change anymore. I think, was the one I was waiting for.
Yeah. Okay, here's a fun question that nobody's been asked yet. Oh. What is your hot take conspiracy theory? I'm throwing you in the deep end because I know that you can take it.
Honestly, mine's a very, I guess you would say, hillbilly or country one, where I always find it fun to imagine that the birds spy on us and they charge on the little phone lines.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's that. No, I'm not wrong. That's the scary part.
Birds aren't real.
It's just the way they look at you.
Yeah, because birds aren't real.
And that's why pigeons are so fucking brave.
Yeah. Pigeons work for the bourgeoisie.
But I would say that's definitely the big one that's in my head.
The birds aren't real.
More times than I actually care to admit.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Birds are kind of weird. Some of them just don't seem real anyway. Like, have you ever seen a red cardinal? It's too red.
There's such a thing as too red.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's got too much red feathers, and parrots and stuff. There's too many colors.
I think peacocks are a failed attempt at hypnotism.
I mean, yeah. Well, there's a hot take conspiracy theory for you. Some people are saying that it was a peacock that people saw back in, biblical times, because they always describe angels as having many eyes, and kind of peacocks kind of spread their tail feather. So they could have just been like high as fuck looking at a peacock's arse and being like, yo, it's an angel, and it's, it's just a peacock.
The scary part when you think about that is, how did they know that it was an angel? So it would have had to speak to them. So it's like, where would the mouth have been?
I mean, yeah, unless back then they were able to, like pirates, mimic words. Can you imagine if somebody's just been like training a peacock in their gaff and be like, remember, you have to say, I am an angel, and then just like been freaking all these people out, and then somebody wrote a book about it. 2,000 years later,
like
everyone's like, it's God.
If could actually talk, they would be little sassy dicks.
Yeah.
Like, they look like they have an attitude.
Oh, they definitely do. I mean, have you seen, is it Kung Fu Panda 2?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He was a dick. Yep, he was a dick.
Oh yeah, definitely. Entitled little shit. Which, honestly, is every personality of every peacock.
Yeah. I feel like there's just some animals that you get that they're just kind of born to be dicks.
Chihuahuas. they were manufactured. You asked me a conspiracy theory, and I'm telling you, fucking someone made chihuahuas to fuck with us. They're cute as hell, but see the moment you provoke them,
yeah,
little fucking shits.
Chihuahuas are just angry rats, and rats are just the best creatures on the planet.
Rats are cute.
But that's my hot take. My hot take conspiracy is that rats are the highest species on the planet. Anyway, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, God.
Or like, what is a song that you just like will sing along to at the top of your lungs?
Oh, probably the On My Way song from Brother Bear.
On My Way. I love that.
Oh. Strange question. I actually had to sit there and think and be like, there's quite a lot to choose from, but if I had to, what would be the go-to?
I'm making you use your brain cells. Mine says Cry For You by September. It's just a fucking bop. Every time I hear it, it just brings me straight back to 2007. And I just vibe away. It's just a bop.
Everyone needs their own little theme tune.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing at my roommate in the background.
Everyone needs their own little theme tune, definitely. So we can talk a little bit about your life outside of being a pup if you'd like.
Yeah, it's less interesting, but we can sure give that a try.
Yeah, well, we like to kind of give both sides of kind of being a pup and kind of not being a pup. So what sort of thing do you do for work?
At the minute, not, but in the past, I've done your basic like coffee shop stuff. I've aided in, sex education, workshops and stuff. I'm pretty sure I actually spoke to you a long time ago, probably around college time we're speaking, about going down that from when I was doing the childcare.
Yeah, I do remember you saying about that.
Just my roommate.
Just off the back of being a barista, what is your favorite beverage to make?
Oh, hot chocolate. See, I'm one of those people. Yeah, I'm one of those people that does not like coffee nor tea. So when having to make that, especially in a machine where the smell just hits you like a hot bag of bricks, it's disgusting. I don't mind it in like a kitchen with a kettle or something, but when you're beside those machines and it just hits you, whether you want it to or not, it's stuck in your clothes. Yeah. But hot chocolate, I don't know, it's makes you feel warm and
it's kind of like a cure-all. It's good in the cold temperatures as well.
See, I like doing the cream with the chocolate flakes and then a little marshmallow on it. Oh, can't do that with coffee. People look at you weird.
See, I'm one for a mocha, which is basically just a hot chocolate with a shot of coffee in it.
Blasphemy.
But the secret to a really good mocha, which might actually be something that you would enjoy, is you add your chocolate syrup or chocolate powder, however you want to make it. You then add in your shot of espresso, and then you add in a wee teaspoon of orgeat, which is kind of like, it's like an almond milk with sugar through it. So it's still kind of a liquid, but it's more of a syrup. It's like an almond sugar syrup.
Alright, so it's quite sweet.
The best way to describe it is that it tastes like marzipan. So you add a wee teaspoon of that.
Okay.
You add a wee teaspoon of that. You then, however you then continue to make your hot chocolate. I know some people use hot milk. Personally, I prefer using hot milk. Some people make it with hot water. Not a fan, but you do you. You add it in, give it a good mix. Some cream on the top. You have the best maca going around. It's so good. I used to make them if I was on the morning shift at the hotel/bar that I used to work at. It was just a way to wake up, and it was so good. Absolutely delicious.
I'm the weirdo that like in college when I was getting up and had to go for the earliest bus to get there and such like that, it would always be a case of quick trip into Starbucks, but not for like coffee or anything. It'd be hot chocolate and a muffin. And then I'd scurry off to my little class with my books and sit there sipping on my hot chocolate.
What's your go-to muffin?
Triple chocolate.
Oh, a man after my own heart.
And it's so great. And I've been one time when they had triple chocolate with runny caramel through it. It was an experience.
Bitch, I need that in my life.
It was a fucking experience. The amount of jealous eyes I had in my class that day.
Oh my God.
I deserved that moment. And I treasured that moment.
Oh, my teeth hurt just thinking about it. Oh.
Worth it.
Sounds so good. And kind of outside of your work, what kind of hobbies do you have?
Gamer. I would say strictly PC, but I'm not one of those PC superior race type people.
I'm a PC gamer. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I like it. It's just more normal to me because that's what I've always had. That's what I started on.
Yeah.
I have been known to like scrounge my face up when I see someone on a PC with a controller. I'm quite known to be like, why? What's the point? But that's just me. I'm a bit.
And
definitely a nature fan. So as you've seen from the photos and stuff, I'm always outside.
And from experience, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. God, now that you actually ask the question and make one think, you sit there and get the realization, wow, I'm boring as fuck.
That's why I'm glad nobody asked me about my hobbies, because it's like, oh yeah, I podcast.
Well, I mean, I could turn around and be like, well, you know what? What's yours? You never express them. I know that you're a massive geek, but what else is there?
Well, gamer, I do podcasting and also do other creative projects in my free time. Obviously, I'm working on the podcast and the dip at the moment, so I've got both of them running for me.
Outside of that, great long list of how you're more exciting. Love that.
I know. Outside of that, I've got a few electronic projects on the go. I'm doing a couple of dioramas, which are in progress. I've got my office is a bit of a mess because I've got one side of the room which is my computer and all my tech set up, and the other side is like my 3D printers. I've got my airbrush plugged in, so it's ready just to pressurize. I've got all my paints.
Have you met the sun before? All these things feel like you don't get the moment to go out.
I go outside when I'm obligated to. I have my cat, which she keeps me company. So that's
oh my god, she was adorable.
She is so cute. She just turned a year old the other day. My little baby.
I remember when she was the teeniest, tiniest little kid.
Oh, she was so small, and I look back at the photos and nearly cry. She's still pretty small for a year-old, but she's a rag doll, so they take up to 4 years to grow up full size.
That's the same one as my little Salem.
Yeah,
and she's quite a few. She's not old. She's not elderly. She'd call my face out if she heard that. But she's more than 3, so she's still quite small and petite. So
yeah,
it's quite expected from them.
Yeah. Aloy had to get a bath the other day, so she wasn't amused with me. I changed her onto adult food, and she got kind of excited about the new food and ate a lot of it too quickly. And then it was not nice. Was not nice. So, and because she's got that kind of long, beautiful fur, I was like, yep, you need a bath.
Bless.
Thankfully, she's really well behaved when it comes to kind of giving her a bath and things like that. She doesn't try and jump. She tends not to scratch or try and bite. Yeah, pretty much. She just yells. She's a very sad girl and she makes it known. But yeah,
love that.
The water kind of went over her face a little bit and she kind of freaked, so she just sunk her claws into my arm. She didn't pull or anything. She was just looking for something to grip onto because she was like, I'm in the water, I can't see, I don't like it. Just grab. Yeah. So I have what looks like little vampire bite on my arm.
That's cute though.
I was very glad she didn't pull because I was like, if she pulls, like her claws are very deep in my skin.
Oh yeah,
this is gonna fucking hurt.
Different story.
But no, she did release, and then she let me know how upset she was. But yeah, like I was able to kind of let her go so that I could kind of massage her a little bit. I have those kind of rubber grooming gloves, which means I can kind of lather in the soap, get it kind of through all of her fur, and then rinse it off. Which it also feels like she's been clapped at the same time, so I think it's less stressful for her. And yeah, she got rinsed off, then towel dried a little bit, although she does not like the towel. She was kind of doing that little really not happy kind of growl. And then I thought she's going to try and run a mile if I try and hairdry her. So she was in her carry case, which is a very well vented carry case. And then from a distance, I was kind of using the hairdryer to kind of blow warm air at her, which she didn't seem to mind too much. So I done that for kind of 10, 15 minutes and then opened it up and she kind of walked out a little bit like, okay, is it safe to go in? And she just bolted and went and sat on the sofa and dried herself and left a nice big wet patch on the sofa.
That's her thank you gift.
So I was like, thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, she's a fantastic little thing. And she likes
since
pups.
Moving here, she likes what?
She likes pups.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Normally pets would, run a mile.
No, she does not mind it if I'm wearing the dax hood.
Interesting.
She does not mind it at all.
We currently have a Sphinx, like the little ball sack cat.
Oh no.
She's so cute, honestly, but she has the personality of an empress.
Oh, I feel like they do.
I would honestly say it's like King John if it was a vagina. Like, she's a tyrant ruler and she'll bless you with her presence whenever she feels like it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
She's just, but it's weird, the very few little moments, at least for me, that she gives me where she's, cuddled up under the blanket or something like that. It's like, I don't know why, but it makes it all worth it.
Yeah. And here's a question no one's answered yet. Do you know your personality type?
Run.
Fair.
It's a unique question. So is that, when you ask that, what kind of categories do you think when you ask that question? I'm not even sure what categories I would think of.
So there's the personality test, which is on the documentation. It's the little yellow bubble. So you can use that link to kind of do the online personality test. Shiny did do it, and he got, what was it, INFP-T. So yeah, he actually got his personality type. I'm ENFP, so I'm an extrovert, which I'm sure you're not surprised by that.
No.
No. I used to be kind of introverted, but not anymore. But yeah, it's just, if some people say it's a bit bullshit, the whole personality type thing, but I think it's just a fun little thing. It's kind of like the zodiac sign sort of deal.
I've actually just clicked on this personality test, and the questions are like, oh god, I'm scared for the answer when I do this.
Yeah.
Does make me think though.
It's designed to. We can move on to Dax's dice if you'd like.
Oh. Sure, I'll need to bring up the thing so I know what number I'm landing on.
Hey, don't worry about it too much. I can read them out.
Go for it.
Rolling the dice. Roll number 1. That's a 4. Ooh, what is your favorite sexy scene from a TV show / movie?
I don't even think it would be considered sexy, to be honest. But
okay.
It's just, you've seen Shameless, I imagine.
Shameless. I don't think
I would be
have.
shocked. Wow, okay. So, slight judgment. There was a UK and US series on it, and in it there's a gay couple called Ian and Mickey. And there's a moment where Ian is, before Ian and Mickey get together, he's hooking up with his boss.
Right.
So it's just that slight moment that you always look back on, well, at least for me, that for some reason it's just there. Very, very fucking present. And I think that was why, because it wasn't a show that I aimed to watch. It was a case of nothing else is on, so I'll put that on.
Yeah.
And then that scene happened, and I was like, okay, it's one of those shows. I'm sitting back and I'm getting comfortable.
It's like, all right, okay, I'm on now. I'm on board. Right, second roll. A 19. Do you have an embarrassing hookup story? And you better not talk about me.
In that case, I'm going to have to say no. I'm kidding.
So rude.
An embarrassing hookup. I guess there was one time in my youth, I say at 25 years old, that now you know the area when I say the big park with the sandpit that has the train track near it? Like
yes.
big park, not the one with the 2 spider webs, but the bigger one.
Yes.
Right. So you know the small, sorry excuse for a lake beside it?
Yes.
There was a moment where after meeting the initial person and we were walking to a area, they were stupid enough to just, for some unknown reason, they wanted to go try and get a closer look at this tiny little fucking duck. And they put their foot in one of the slushy parts of the mud and just, you heard them slap and hit the water face first, stomach.
No.
And, like, it was one of those moments where it was just a complete 90-degree angle. They went from straight up to just 90-degree flat on the face. And the slap, I couldn't contain my laughter. They got very angry at it. And that just made me laugh even more. Because it's like, I would not be upset if I was the one that fell into it and someone laughed at me.
I would probably just be laughing in hysterics, probably very sad that I've got myself muddy.
There's laugh or cry. Those are your 2 options.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I can probably guess who it was as well. Oh, your third roll, you got a 20.
Did I actually?
You did.
Jeez.
If the guest and host were to go, how would it go? Well, we already know how that goes.
Yeah, we do.
So don't really need to answer that one. We already know how that happens.
No, yeah.
All right. So I have some finishing questions. What is your thoughts on the podcast so far?
I was asked a lot of questions that I feel ill-prepared for. But I think that was more looking on I wasn't prepared to ask myself these questions rather than be asked them. But I think it was fun. It was positive. I got to speak about a few things that I wouldn't normally get to, I suppose, because of the questions you've asked about, like, what experience have you had? What are the benefits? Not really things that you get at events or even the social setting.
Yeah. And that's the point of the podcast, is that we're trying to kind of explore the community, show off kind of how to practice your kink safely, trying to create these kind of resources for people that are maybe new to the kink or looking to explore, and kind of just allowing people to have a platform to kind of show themselves, as it were, and give a voice of everyone in the community. And a learning experience is a learning experience. And
definitely.
Just on the back of that, what are your future goals for yourself as a pup?
Honestly, I would say just to let Kino get more exploration out. Like, I don't think his events would strictly stay in the UK.
Which is great. I hope to see you at Darklands next year, that's for sure.
We'll see. There's certain parts of that event that made me think, oh god, I'm not prepared.
Well, the thing is, I've spoken to a few people already who kind of, it was their first Darklands and they threw themselves into the deep end. And the best way to view Darklands is don't go with any expectations. Just see it as another event. It's a kink event. It's a very large kink event, but nothing is guaranteed. You don't need to go and have sex, or you could go and purely have sex. Darklands is kind of whatever you make it, and that's 3 years in a row. It's been something different for me every year. This year it was purely social, well, with the exception of the horse fair, but that's a different story. Apart from that, it was purely social for me. I just kind of went to the markets and done a lot of... People mainly found me in the smoking area.
I can imagine. Was there alcohol?
There was, but I wasn't drinking that much this year.
And you were... Wait, when you say smoking, do you class that as your little vape box that you can't live without?
My vape box, which is 10 times more powerful than a regular cigarette, yes. Coming in at a whopping 70 watts of cloud.
So exactly, you're not smoking, you're creating your own little atmosphere with clouds.
Creating my own biodome, yeah.
Yeah, playing Sims.
All right, well, I think that's all my questions for me. Do you have any final words or wisdom that you would like to share?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I guess if there were people that are curious about it or wanting to do it, I would say just do it or ask someone. But be respectful when you ask. Because, Absolute Grinder and such, you can have a pup profile and that just opens up to like various amounts of times where you have to turn into the spokesperson for pup play.
Yep.
Is very, I wouldn't say anymore, but when I had mine, it was like there was me, there was Bruno, and maybe one other that was like God knows how far away.
Yeah,
but Bruno's told me that there's been quite a few showing up on his nowadays.
Yes,
so
there's more appearing.
But I would say, just be respectful, ask the questions you want to ask, but be mindful that it is a pup you're talking to, but they have the moments of consciousness of a person. So just remember what you say and how it might translate over.
Yeah. I don't think you could really put that any better. All right.
That's just my little thing.
Well, thank you so much, Kino, for joining me on today's episode. I have been Dax. This has been Kino.
Au revoir.
It's goodbye from us. Thank you so much. See you next time.